What's up, nerdlings? Sean from the Nerd Lair here. Thanks for tuning into this video where we're going to be playing and reviewing the game Kid Dracula on the Famicom. So let's just get this video started with
Akumajo Supesaru Boku Dracula-kun. When we translate that into English, it roughly means Demon Castle Special, I'm Kid Dracula. It's a platforming game made by Konami, and it was released only in Japan on the Famicom back on October 19th, 1990. It was considered to be a parody of the Castlevania series. The game's director, Shigeru Murata, will later go on to direct two other games, one based off of the popular toy line series called Monster in My Pocket on NES in 1992, and the other, a fighting game called Deadly Arts on Nintendo 64 in 1998. The plot of Kid Dracula is super vague, and it doesn't really explain it at all while you're playing the game. Basically, Kid Dracula awakens from a long sleep only to discover that he's been challenged by a demon lord called Garamos. Swiping his father's cape, it's up to Kid Dracula to set out on an adventure to destroy the demon monster and retake his throne.
In total, there are 9 levels in this game, and each one ends with some sort of boss fight. Kid Dracula is equipped with a fireball spell which you use as your main attack, and it kind of works like Mega Man's Buster Cannon, where you can press the button over and over to shoot little tiny fireballs, or you can hold it down to charge it up for a big fireball attack. There's only 3 different items that you can collect throughout each level in the game. The first one is a heart container that increases your maximum HP by 1, the second is just a regular heart that refills your HP when you're low, and then the third is a coin which you collect in order to use for mini games in between levels. The first level is the castle, and this one you're going to be fighting 2 ghost bosses. The first one is a small boss which jumps around, and basically all you have to do is hit it with your fireball every time it gets close to the ground until it dies. And then there's a second phase which is a bigger ghost that pretty much does the same exact pattern except he's bigger. So rinse and repeat and you beat the boss. After each boss level for the first 5 bosses, you're going to get an ability that helps you traverse through the level and makes fighting enemies a little bit easier. The first ability that you receive is called the homing attack. Basically it shoots a spread shot of multiple different projectiles that lock on to the nearest target. It's not very powerful, but it does come in handy for certain stages. Stage 2 is the cloud level. This one has enemies that are going to be flying around up in the sky attacking you from above, and there's going to be a lot more precision type jumps in this one, so it takes some time to get used to, but the controls are really solid and it makes it pretty easy to adapt. The boss on this stage is kind of funny. It's a giant flying chicken that throws little chickens at you. It's chiclets or whatever. Basically you're going to use the homing attack to hit the baby chickens that it throws at you while hitting the big chicken at the same time. Rinse and repeat, bada bing bada boom, it's dead. The ability that you get after fighting this boss is called the bomb attack, and basically it shoots out one projectile that explodes on impact, doing kind of like a radius damage sort of thing that goes on for about a second. So anything that hits that radius damage gets damaged. Stage 3 is the underwater level, and this one really reminds me of the Launch Octopus stage on Mega Man X on the Super Nintendo. It's an underwater stage, so you have those underwater physics where you can jump really high and really far, and it kind of feels like it's in slow motion, so it makes timing jumps kind of tricky. You're going to be dodging a lot of spikes as well. The boss for this stage is a squid that's encased in a giant bubble that moves around the area that you're fighting in, and if you touch the bubble you take damage. Basically all you have to do is dodge the bubble, shoot the squid, and that's it. The ability that you get for this boss is the flight ability, which allows you to turn into a bat and fly for a limited amount of time. Stage 4 is the ice level, and in this one there's going to be ice all over the ground, which means you're going to be sliding all over the place and it's going to be hard to control your jumps. The boss on this stage is an ice dragon, and again it reminds me of that mini boss in the Launch Octopus level of Mega Man X that's like a robot dragon. Yeah, it's the same kind of thing. All you have to do is shoot the dragon's head, make sure you watch out for its dive bombs, and it will go through the bridge that you're standing on. The ability that you get after beating this boss is basically you shoot out a frost projectile that freezes the enemy momentarily. It gives you time to jump over the enemy or just use your regular buster attack to kill it if it's a stronger enemy. Stage 5 is going to be New York, and in this one you're going to be jumping from rooftop to rooftop and then go down into the subway and fight serial killers and punks. There's no real boss fight technically in this level. The Statue of Liberty comes to life and asks you some trivia questions, just general geography or about the United States or Japan or something like that. They're really easy, but you are going up against 2 CPU characters, and they will hit the buzzer and answer before you, so you have to be quick. If you answer 3 of them correctly, you win, and you get the ability Hang, which allows you to jump on the ceiling and walk around. It's pretty cool. For a limited time, but still, it comes in handy in certain levels where it is required to do that. Level 6 is Egypt. There's not really much to say about this one. It's kind of bland. There's a lot of sand, and more sand. The boss in this one is probably the easiest in the game in my opinion. It's a Sphinx head where you stand on one of 2 platforms that circles around the Sphinx head. The Sphinx will shoot bubbles at you, and if you get hit by them, they knock you off the platform to your death. All you have to do is shoot the head and the bubbles so you don't get knocked off, and you win. And that's it. No ability after this one. On to the next level. Level 7 is Outer Space, where you're going to be fighting the Demon Lord Garamos. For this fight, you won't be able to do damage to him until he raises his sword up to attack you. Stay close to him, and then jump back when he raises his sword, and then shoot him in the body to do damage. Rinse and repeat until he's dead. Level 8 is the Sky Ship, and I kind of hate this level the most. I don't know why. There's just a lot of annoying enemies and obstacles in this level. The boss fight for this stage is a giant robot. You can only hurt it by hitting its head, so the only way that you can do that is by using the homing attack to shoot it up, and hopefully one of them hits it doing damage to him. He shoots his arm out to attack you. All you have to do is duck, and again, rinse and repeat. These patterns are super easy, and you'll get them very quickly. And finally, level 9. This is the hardest level in the game by far, which is again rightfully so because, well, it's the last stage. It's an endurance run. There's 3 bosses in this stage, and there's very little, if any, hearts to refill your health. So you have to be very precise and make sure that you don't get hit too many times. The first boss is a bearded dog from hell, and it's a fire-based enemy, so the only thing that'll hurt it is your ice power. Next up is a giant robot head. It is by far the most annoying boss in the game. The head has a big drill on the bottom of it, and it'll raise up into the air, and you'll need to run underneath it to shoot the head the second that it hits the ground. The time window for this is so short, and if you touch the head at all, you take damage. And finally, we reach the final boss, Faramos, which is like some weird alien demon thing. The trick with him is he's going to fly up into the air, and you're going to want to stay underneath him the entire time. He'll shoot 2 beams of lightning down at you, and he'll lock you underneath him. He'll move left and right, and you're going to want to walk with him so you don't get hit by the lightning bolts that he's shooting out. He'll open his mouth to shoot a fireball, and right before he does this, you need to shoot him with the bomb attack in his mouth. And I couldn't tell for the longest time that I was doing any damage to him, and I was so confused as to what I was supposed to do. But it doesn't show any sort of damage that you're doing to him, so take my word for it and just shoot him with the bomb. You have to do this within a split second and make sure that you don't get hit by the fireball that he shoots at you. It's not too hard, it'll take you a couple times, but the thing is, if you die on this boss, you have to start the level all over again, which means fighting the last 2 enemies that you fought previously again. Yeah, that sucks. And the final cutscene in the game before the credits roll is Kid Dracula reclaiming his throne, and all the monsters that were sent to kill you are now your biggest fans. You're the top dog, you got the throne back, and you beat the game. Congratulations. And that's it for Kid Dracula on the Famicom. Is it a fun game? Yes. Is it a hard game? Nah. You could beat it in about an hour, but I highly recommend it. Even if you can emulate it, it's still a really fun game. There's actually a Game Boy version of this, which is a remake and also a sequel. We'll get to that in another video. Thanks for watching, you guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to see more content like this, I upload at least once a week, so there's always something to watch. Go ahead and check out some of my other videos. If you like this one, you might like those as well. Links to all my social media if you want to interact with me is down below in the description, and I will see you next time in the Nerd Lair. Thanks for watching.